It's fantastic to see you continuing on this transformative journey to becoming the best version of yourself. Today, we're diving into a topic that's crucial for personal growth. Understanding that your emotions are your responsibility. No one else can control how you feel, just as you cannot control anyone else's emotions. This might seem obvious, but in the heat of the moment, it's all too easy to forget. It's human nature to want to place blame on others for how we feel. When someone's rude or hurtful, it feels justified to say, "They made me feel this way." But what's actually happening is that the external event is triggering emotions that already exist inside us. Your reaction is a choice, a deeply ingrained habit perhaps, but still a choice. Coming to terms with this realization is challenging, but it's the key to emotional freedom. When you accept that your emotional state is under your control, you start to see just how much power you have. This is true for positive emotions too. No one can make you happy. Others can contribute to your happiness, certainly. They can create environments or situations where happiness can flourish. But ultimately, you choose to feel happy, just as you choose to feel angry or sad. Placing your emotional well-being entirely in someone else's hands is a recipe for disappointment and strained relationships. When you believe that others control your emotions, you fall into a victim mindset. It's a mentality where nothing is ever truly your fault because they did this or they caused that. And while that perspective might seem easier, it actually strips you of your agency. By contrast, when you understand that your emotions are yours to own and manage, it's liberating. Suddenly, you're no longer at the mercy of what others say or do. This isn't about becoming emotionally bulletproof. Life will always throw situations your way that test your emotional resilience. But it's about knowing that you get to decide how much power you give to external events. Imagine the inner peace that comes from knowing you have the final say over your emotional landscape. That's what emotional ownership looks like. So, how do you start putting this into practice? One of the simplest and most effective ways is through intentional breathing. When we're triggered, when that surge of anger or frustration rises, our bodies switch to autopilot. Our hearts race, our muscles tense, and before we know it, words and actions follow that we often regret. This is the primal fight or flight response taking over. To regain control, we have to re-engage our conscious brain. This is where deep breathing comes in. Taking a few slow, controlled breaths interrupts the cycle of reactivity. It forces your brain to shift out of panic mode and back into a state of awareness. Think of it as pressing the reset button. Those few seconds it takes to breathe deeply and consciously are all you need to shift from reacting impulsively to responding mindfully. We often talk about managing negative emotions, but remember, this applies to positive emotions as well. Have you ever expected someone else to make you happy? Maybe you've thought, if only my partner, friend, or parent would act a certain way, then I'd be content. It's an easy trap to fall into, but it sets unrealistic expectations. Your happiness is your responsibility. When we place the burden of our happiness on others, we strain our relationships. No one can live up to that kind of pressure. Embracing the idea that happiness is something you cultivate within yourself isn't just empowering, it's necessary for healthier connections. When you stop expecting others to make you happy, you free yourself and those around you to experience a more genuine form of joy. Navigating interactions with challenging people, there will always be people who seem to delight in pushing your buttons. Some thrive on making others feel miserable. It gives them a misguided sense of control. When you encounter people like this, having the tools to manage your emotions is crucial. Don't let them win. By staying calm and composed, by breathing through the anger instead of lashing out, you deny them the satisfaction of controlling your state of mind. Of course, this doesn't mean you should suppress your emotions. It's okay to feel angry or upset, but understand that these feelings are yours. You can choose whether or not to express them, and if so, how. This is what being emotionally responsible truly means. You are capable, resilient, and in control. Take this awareness with you as you move through your day. And remember, your emotions are yours to own, nurture, and master.